Thursday night. Welcome to the pod. Welcome to the field. The dewy, steamy field in the background, as you can see. Super Bowl Sunday is closing in upon us. Going to
Yep.
what vendor is going to be supplying the pies
I think
for
so. I
Sunday?
think the plan is we're gonna do Wingstop wings and then Costco pizza.
It's a good combo. That is a good combo, I will say. Wingstop wings, Costco pizza, very nice. Um, So obviously, yeah, the big game coming up. You got your eye on Feast. You got your mind on Feast. Some people enjoy the commercials. Others are just there for the big game. But before we even go into the pigskin world, let's pump the brakes and dive into the hardwood, slide across the hardwood, Dennis Rodman style, and talk about some of the trades today that shook up the league a little bit to maybe create some new favorites and take some people out of contention altogether. And furthermore, set some teams back half a decade to rebuild, is what I think is happening in Boston. So, what are our first takes here? Obviously, we've seen some things happen earlier in the week with Sabonis going to the Kings and some other small trades. And then things started to really fall down today. So, what are some of the bigger trades today? And what's our overall prediction and a review of today?
Well, first off, I just want to say great to be on and Birdzilla, also known as well, a couple of things. Birdzilla, um, a few other aliases. He mentioned it was too late to be on, so it's a shame. Couldn't get him out here. You've seen him for some late Call of Duty battles before, but couldn't get him out here 10 p.m. Eastern time. He was tucked in, so we'll reach out to him about that here soon. But yeah, the trades today, man. What a day, a whirlwind of deals, and it's pretty curious to me how Daryl Morey and the Sixers were okay, really strengthening, I think, Brooklyn long term. Of course, they win the trade this year. James Harden, you want to push all your chips in a year where Embiid is healthy. Embiid is not always healthy. So a year where he's healthy playing at a
Sure.
high level, sure, you stack it. We get that you want Harden, but I think the fact that they made the Nets better long term, a divisional foe. It's questionable. It's questionable because there's no question it wasn't going to work with the Kyrie, Harden, Durant. That experiment was flailing out. So the fact that they got Harden, but maybe at the expense of their future. I mean, I don't know. What do you feel about that?
Um, I mean, and in my opinion, I think just the Sixers just won the trade outright, and in a sense that even with the future until I mean, who did they got? Drummond, Simmons, Seth Curry, guys that can play somewhat well for maybe another couple seasons. There's some solid depth guys. Um, but I mean, I don't think it does anything for the Nets. I mean, you're talking about another guard that can't shoot that's going to be forced to play point guard on the road games and then point forward on the home games because Kyrie can only play the home games. And then they give up some depth. Millsap goes back to the Sixers. Tyrese Maxey's been huge already. So I think the Sixers they're built to win in the next year or two if it's going to happen. They finally got a good coach. Um, I think they just won the trade, like you said. Embiid is
Well, I
right
think
now.
didn't Tyrese Maxey go to Brooklyn in the trade?
No,
I
no, no.
thought
He's one of their
oh,
best
so he
players.
stayed.
Yeah, he's completely
Huh.
staying. It was Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, first round pick, second round pick, and then Ben Simmons. But I don't think it does anything for the Nets. Maybe those draft picks are good. Maybe they draft Bronny, and then LeBron leaves the Lakers and goes over there. That's the only maybe that could happen to them. Um, but yeah, Sixers to me won that. I think the East is so weak right now. The Bucks did pick up Ibaka. I liked that today. Another stretch five to throw in there and clog the paint. Um, but there's really not a whole lot of competition in the East. So I think the Sixers are pretty much going to walk and probably just by virtue of Giannis being good, it'll be those two meeting in the East. And then, well, no, Chicago's there. I always forget about Chicago. They have had injuries, but
They're right there.
they made some small moves, I think. I forget what they exactly did, but Yeah, just Sixers, I think, like you said, they're win now. It's gotta be the next year or 2. Harden's what, 32, Embiid's 28, 29, You gotta start looking at win now, and I think they got lucky in getting Doc Rivers and then having Tyrese Maxey fall to them. Those 2 right there, it's gonna hurt losing Seth Curry for sure, but you get Millsap back to help Embiid in the front court, and then you add James Harden. I think they're set. They're probably walking to the finals on this one unless Giannis goes, super Greek god mode again.
Yeah, definitely. No, I like the Sixers to come out of the East. I don't know if the Bucks can do it again. Just feel like losing PJ Tucker hurt. They traded away Dante DiVincenzo. Um, I don't think Serge Ibaka is really a difference maker anymore, so it could probably be, like you said, Eastern Conference appearance from them. But Sixers definitely gonna beat them headed into the Larry O'Brien showdown.
Yeah, I like that one. Of course, some other McCollum. That was another one that happened a couple days ago. CJ McCollum to the Pelicans. From what we've heard, they've just wanted an all-star guard. Now they got one. Now you just got to hope Zion comes back well, and you got Ingram, who's a talented player. They do have some other players down there. I think they traded Josh Hart,
Yep.
and as part of that trade. So that's just another team. There was just a lot of trades that I felt were so meaningless because you're just swapping a good player for another good player who teams refused to build around or just didn't work out. Like, I mean, so earlier in the week, Pacers and Kings, good players, great players, traded for each other, but it's a nonsensical trade because they're great players that both teams are just known to not build around players, and all that's going to happen is in 2 years they'll both be gone. So it's like, why do you trade people you drafted, told them you weren't going to trade them, we're going to build around them, and then you're like, Miles Turner and Halliburton, and then Sabonis and Fox, they might do something over there. I was looking at the standings. If anybody makes the playoffs, it could possibly be the Kings with how bad you expect the Portland Trailblazers to go down without McCollum. The Lakers are going to keep tumbling. And there's some other teams that aren't really that good ahead of the Kings. The Kings could get into the play-in game. Absolutely.
Yeah, if I'm the Lakers, I'm worried about Sacramento, um, Golden State. You know,
Absolutely.
really really anybody. If I'm the Lakers, I'm worried about anybody at this point. They are just a bad basketball team,
The fact that
inside
they
and
didn't
out.
trade anybody, my God, the fact they didn't do any trades was just it was baffling.
They've given up. It can, any title contender at least add some depth around the edges this time of year. The fact that you just didn't see a single Woj or Shams or anybody tweet that the Lakers were even considering movement just tells me a
Oh, a
couple
lot of
things.
just a lot of fake news. You heard Kyle Lowry, you heard Cam Reddish, and it all just became fake news in the end. So,
It's time for them to shift their attention to Space Jam 2.
oh,
Tell you that.
yeah, yeah. Hollywood is not going to be doing anything in the near future. Um, what I could say though is that the Clippers. I think the Clippers are the ones that got God. Who was DiVincenzo, I believe. There were some other
Oh, is
players,
that
but
where he ended up?
The Clippers have been a disappointment, gotta say. I mean, I don't know exactly. Are they playing
They
at full
always
health?
are.
Is it George and
No,
Kawhi
no.
are just
So
not
it's
healthy?
just George, but here's the thing for me with the Clippers, and I almost feel like we're repeating ourselves because you and I have said this a lot. Going back to last year, they just never play good chemistry wise, and we can say they're hurt, but when they weren't hurt, like when can we point to this era of Paul George, Kawhi, and Patrick Beverly and some of these other guys, when can we point to it and say, here's when they were healthy and just playing great chemistry basketball? They never were. So they don't seem like a threat to me even when they're healthy. They don't I don't know. They just don't play well together as a starting five.
So I was talking to Dan about this earlier, but just with how the chips are falling, obviously the Lakers are tanking. The Nuggets just haven't really showed up this year as to, and of course Murray. I don't think Murray's even back or back to full health. Um,
I think he's
but yeah,
back, but
they're
I
not
don't know.
they're not playing up to par. The Jazz, of course, lost Joe Ingles to injury, traded him, and they've been playing pretty decent. But again, I don't know if I believe in the Jazz just yet. What
I
it's setting up
certainly
to be
don't.
is, like I said, you're going to get Phoenix and Golden State in the West, and Milwaukee and Philadelphia in the. Here we go. We have Ethan with the chat, and then Philadelphia, Milwaukee in the
Hmm.
East, Golden State, Phoenix in the West is likely what we have. Did you hear that after confirmation of Machine Gun Kelly in the celebrity game, somebody I did not, but that would be
Man,
funny. That would be pretty funny.
that's big news, man. Big news. Love MGK, love Eminem. Hilarious.
I did see, I did see, of course, Machine Gun Kelly in the Celebrity All-Star game and some of these other guys. It's starting to get like a and you got two NBA players, former NBA players on the celebrity game. I'm like, not really celebrities if you played in the league before. Like it's like Boobie Gibson and Anderson Varejao. Yeah.
Man.
Oh, yeah, I know why, because the game's in Cleveland. The All-Star game's in
Mm-mm.
Cleveland, so just Cavs legends. Yeah,
It's a shame
but
Spice Adams not on any rosters this year. I mean, you
oh, you
really
got
feel like GMs are missing.
there's a lot, yeah, a lot of people that are missing. Drewski, they could put Drewski out there, just have some fun with
Oh
it,
yeah.
Kevin Hart's been out there, won a couple MVPs. Of course, we saw Bow Wow and Justin Timberlake
God,
back.
Kevin Hart, easily one of the worst celebrity basketball players I've ever seen. I mean, I know he's won a couple MVPs, but man, just terrible out there.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the time, you're not gonna find real talent out there. Um, and then for my team, the Celtics, my God, it looks like so either Brad Stevens believes a high tier free agent is going to come to Boston this summer, or he's playing for 28, 27 title, because today we shipped out 5 players, got back 2, and we traded a first round draft pick. So it was a money dump. But what I didn't like was got rid of solid prospects, Romeo Langford, Bol, um, Bruno Fernando, Josh Richardson, all just gone. Even they even
Wow.
traded Dennis Schroeder to the Rockets for just like nothing, basically. Daniel Tice. So we get Daniel Tice back, and then they pick up Derek White from San Antonio. That's the new squad, and they were already horrible this year. I mean, like I said, I'm not a fan of the coach. Coach Udoka has not been impressive. Celtics fans do not have a long fuse for L's, and it's been happening for about a decade now. And it's not fun. So yeah, just trying to get back to relevancy as a fan.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's the roster is just weird because you have Jalen Brown and Tatum who tie up some money and they're gonna want even more money soon. But then you still have to fit that supporting cast around them and it just hasn't seemed to be really a path for Boston
They
to
just
get
haven't.
that
Oh, they
done
they
at
got
any
rid of
point.
Cantor too. Like there were almost
Oh,
every depth player.
probably
They just
good they did. He just
yeah.
eats up money. Enos Freedom. I mean, he was on the Tucker Carlson show. That's pretty much as bad as it can get, no matter who you voted for. If you're on the Tucker Carlson show, just stop it, man. Just stop.
Also, get this. I just saw the article today. This jumps back to the NFL, but I guess Mike Evans also accidentally gave away Brady's last touchdown ball to some guy, and he's selling it on eBay for like
What do you mean
400,000.
accidentally?
Well, so remember how he threw his 600th touchdown pass, and
Uh-huh.
Mike Evans threw it to some guy in the stands, and they had to like buy it back from him and like bribe him with like tickets and like jerseys and
Oh yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah.
So he did the same. Brady's last touchdown pass was to Mike Evans, and he threw it in the crowd and just didn't know he would retire. And then some guys got it, posting it on eBay.
They'll be fine. Brady and Mike Evans have so much money, just
I
let it
mean, he'll
happen.
probably just send the TB12 organization to outbid everybody, just because you got to get that
Oh,
back and got to get that back in
that's
the Hall
true.
of Fame. Unless, like he said, I mean, again, I saw Ocho Cinco today. He just said he doesn't feel like at right now he can give 100%. But he was like, at no point in time did Tom Brady himself say that he's retired. He just said right now, he's just stepping away from the game, doesn't feel like he can give 100%. That might change, that might not. So that again,
It's
knowing that he has 1 year on the deal, and then you've seen all this speculation. You've seen possibly traded to San Francisco. What I was looking at, and I was thinking about this too. Oh man, I already forgot who the team was that I was gonna say. But Aaron Rodgers, not to San Francisco,
Denver,
even though we talked about it, but somewhere else, like somebody that I feel like they had a good enough team if they just had the
Oakland,
quarterback.
Oakland Raiders.
The Colts. The Colts. I'm like,
Oh,
Aaron
yep.
Rodgers, it makes sense to go to. I'm like, Jonathan Taylor, a good defense. The only reason they didn't win, Carson Wentz and just lack of receivers. If you can get Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams to go to Indianapolis to a
Oh
horse,
man, they're an instant Super Bowl
yeah,
contender, maybe a
that's
favorite.
better than the Packers. Yeah. So you're talking coming out of AFC, Rodgers. I mean, and that's a path that could very well happen. You just send Wentz and draft picks, and then Adams signs with the Colts, and then the trade is for Rodgers. Could very well happen.
The other thing too is the snowy weather that was clearly a big part of that um, Niners Packers game wouldn't be a factor if they have home field. I mean, Lucas Oil is a controlled environment, so now in those games, instead of Rodgers having to lean on a running back, you can just air it the fuck out right there at Lucas Oil. So yeah,
Oh yeah, and especially if you finish with that top record, I mean, the road goes through Lucas Oil. So that's something that I was thinking about today. I'm like, man, they do need a receiver because an aging T.Y. Hilton, not the answer. Michael Pittman Jr., he's nice.
he's nice, very nice. If
Yeah,
you could
so
just, I mean, even if they have Michael Pittman Jr., even if they could bring over like Calvin Ridley and Alan Lazard, that's enough for Aaron Rodgers to just end up on
yeah.
posters outside
Or
the
just
stadium.
just text Ridley and Gronk. Gronk will come over. He's got another year in him. And then he can just
Yeah,
Gronk spot Lucas Oil. But Gronk said he
Gronk's
wants
such
to
a
play for
veteran
Burrow.
now, man.
Yeah, Gronk said he wants to play for Burrow in the Bengals next season. So
Damn.
we'll see where yeah, he said he loves the way he just is so poised in the pocket. It just reminds him of Tampa Tom. So he's
Oh, it
ready to
does.
pick up his bags and just go to Tampa. But the thing is, he's decently mobile. I mean, he shouldn't run because of that knee injury last year, but he's decently mobile, much more mobile than Peyton or Tom. So that's why in that sense he reminds me a little bit of Elway. Um, but yeah, I mean, he's
No
quick. I
doubt.
mean, he's probably just by default my favorite quarterback in the league now. I mean, now that Brady's gone, I mean, long gone is Culpepper and some of the guys that were my favorites, Elway, and so yeah.
Interested
So
to see later on tonight how some of these sheets came out. I just got random shit going on tonight. Just Wagner on the money line, Loyola just spreads.
college basketball.
Um,
So
NBA, yep.
I don't have anything in tonight. I'm gonna do a deposit on DraftKings, 250 tomorrow, because they have
Damn.
25% deposit match and free bets. So
Wow.
I'll get like two $25 free bets, or no, they said like 5 or something. It's crazy. They'll give you a bunch. So they do that in free bets, and I'm gonna put those plus. I'm gonna take out like 200 of that, keep 50 in, and then I'll play that. I have risk-free SGP from FanDuel. I think we get one from Caesars, so we get a couple free ones on the house regardless. Then I deposit match, and then I was already planning to put up like $100 on the Super Bowl, maybe 150, and then I'll just spread it out. Lots of things that could happen. Lots of things. I'm gonna probably do 2 more on the exact final score.
Yeah, I did actually pick two final score games. I think I did one was Rams 34-20. The other was Rams 31-17. I just feel like it's possible. I'm like, man, could be possible, so we'll see.
Yeah, and of course I saw the Madden predictions. Bengals winning like 27-24 by a field goal on the Madden sim that they did. So I'm like, I might pick, and then that's why I did. If you see the prop bet, go ahead and on FanDuel, just it's worth doing it. Bengals kicker Evan McPherson to kick a game-winning field goal, win by 3 or less points.
What's the payout on that? Like, or what's the
I
odds, I
think
should
it's
say?
plus 1,000.
Damn.
So I got that in the oven. Yeah, 20 to win 220. Evan McPherson to kick a game-winning walk-off field goal. Margin must be by 3 points or less. So he can win by 1, 2, or 3 points. So I'm like, that's a good bet. It's not just like 1 by 3 if it's a 1-point game, 2-point game.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, man, I think we'll all just be shocked if the Bengals somehow find a way to
That
pull it
type
out
of
one more
magic can
week.
just happen. I just feel with that kicker, he's just riding the Jesus wings right now. I mean, they're America's favorite team. I think. I mean, people want the Rams to win because they're due to win. I mean, Aaron Donald, the GOAT. You know, Matt Stafford, just a seasoned veteran. Sean McVay been there and lost before. People are rooting for Odell. You know, they got all the stories. Eric Weddle off the couch, Von Miller. It's just so it's
Yeah,
really like
they're way more
still
talented on
Cincinnati.
defense.
Cincinnati is definitely America's team because of just Joe Burrow and the cigars. Rookies, Jamar Chase. They're just a likable group. Finally, the Bengals are a team you can root for. Um, yeah, I mean, in the end, they're outmatched. It's going to take some Air Bud Disney shit for them to pull off a win here. And to mention, it's in fucking LA. It's at the Rams practice stadium where they just smoke
Oh,
blunts and
Rams have to win it. Like all the pressure's honestly on the Rams because like if you don't win this at home, how bad is that? I mean, you're the better team on paper and you're at home. Like, no, got
I
to
would
do it.
still say I can't, probably regardless of what happens next year, it's probably going to be Chiefs and Rams. Um, you figure they'll just reload because even if the Rams win, they won't get back. I know that for a fact. Boys, just Matt Stafford's not the kind of I just don't believe in Matt Stafford completely that he would come back to back Super Bowls. So there's that there. We did jump around a bit. I mean, we still had more. There was a little more in the NBA to talk about. I know the Suns bolstered up. They grabbed some guys. They picked up Biombo earlier. I mean, it's been like 2 months now, probably. Torrey
Yeah.
Craig back, and Justin Holiday,
I think it was Aaron Holiday.
Aaron Holiday. There's so many of them. So many of them. Three of them. Three brothers. One's in the. Does Drew still play for the Pelicans or Drew Holiday? Or is he
He plays for the Bucks. He's their starting
Oh,
point
that's
guard.
right. Yeah. That's why they fucking won last year. I mean, they just had a complete team, and Giannis went Greek god mode. That 50
No,
piece close him out was just man.
no disrespect to Holiday, but yeah, that was Giannis is the reason they won. Like honestly, in Game 6 and 7, you couldn't even guard Giannis. If you guarded him, they just blew the whistle, and it's mainly because he's just so big that you just
Yeah, strong, long, fast. There's just not a guy that can guard him. Too fast for centers, too
right.
strong for everybody else.
It's
Like,
almost not fair defensively because like you can't guard him because if you guard him, his elbows just bump into your neck and they call a foul, just contact because it is a foul, but like you can't really do anything because you're just standing there and it's so frustrating as a fan to watch. I mean, man, because that's
I
why I'm
saw
just
the
hoping they don't go back to the finals because I don't want to see that again.
it's a
Suns could
mismatched
beat
power.
Sixers.
There's just not a person in the league that can guard that guy. So you just have to hope this team can't support him because I was
Yeah,
watching a clip of the All-Star picks today, and LeBron had the first pick, and he's like, I'm picking that unstoppable All-Star legend, Giannis, with the first pick. I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna win. And they have like Luka, Giannis, Steph Curry, and LeBron like on the All-Star team.
I I
That
have
team's
Luca to have a double double tonight, and I just saw on Twitter just that graphic of him at 28 points in the first quarter. I'm like, there's no way he doesn't get a double double. And I haven't even looked at the sheets since
See,
actually
that's
at all.
concerning though, because that means if he had 28 in the first quarter, he's not passing. He's not passing. So those
I mean,
assists
no, but
gonna
he
be
rebounds. He just
yeah,
ends up
he
with
does.
rebounds real quick. Like they stack.
They probably didn't play Porzingis tonight with the trade, so they probably sat him out.
Hmm.
Uh, underrated pickup. Let's talk about underrated pickup that flies under the radar because this is a team I've been watching, and they remind me of like what the Bengals of the NBA right now with how they're just upstart and young. The fucking Hornets, Michael Jordan's Hornets. They picked up
Hmm.
Montrezl Harrell to stack in that front court. You
Love it.
got You got Bridges, LaMelo, Terry. There's some other good guys over there. They got some talent. That's another team that could sneak into the playoffs. You might see the Hornets, and they might just run boys off the floor. And that's a team that could get to the second round and just shock some people. So LaMelo, obviously, first time All Star, pretty huge.
Yeah, no,
But
I
yeah,
agree.
underrated because he
It
just
could
didn't
be a
fit.
sneaky opponent.
Yeah, just didn't fit in Washington. They moved him, of course, make room for Porzingis, give Porzingis the starting role there. And then Davis Bertans goes back to Dallas. I also so get this, I heard Goran Dragic was traded and the team is gonna buy him out, and I guess he wants to sign with the Mavs because him and Luka have played on the national team in Slovenia. So that's
Would have
another.
loved to see him back in Phoenix, honestly, just for depth, but they have a really bad relationship, the front office of Phoenix and Dragic. It just
I
didn't
think they're
end
fine at
well.
this point with the way. I mean, at this point, I think Campaign's about equal to him in their career. Dragic's on his way down, Campaign's on his way up. So like, I think you get the
Oh, for
same
sure. No, it's
same
just more of a
outcome. Yeah,
fan favorite type thing. Like, because yeah, from an actual basketball standpoint, they're fine at point guard. Campaign has that sprained wrist; he'll be back in 2 3 weeks. Aaron Holiday's there. They have Alfred Payton, a ball manager.
that's right.
But
The guy
but the
he
thing
came
is,
back.
yeah, Dragic is just a lovable guy here in
Is it
Phoenix. So
is Frank the Tank still there, or is he like in the Israeli league now?
he is. He got hurt earlier in the season, right before they signed JaVale McGee and then traded for Biombo. Um, or no, I'm sorry, the other way around. Before they signed both of them, there was no trade. But yeah,
Yeah,
Kaminsky got hurt, and that's it.
yeah. I think that would help one of those. I haven't seen. I think the Mavs are like below sixth or seventh seed in the West, something like that. So I think they do get in, but I'm watching the bottom, that eight and the playing spots. I'm watching because I really do expect the Lakers. I mean, I don't know. I think the Lakers at least make the play-in, and they might lose the play-in, which is funny. But I
I
mean,
think
as
they
long as
do lose the plan for sure.
yeah, as
I
long
mean,
as you have LeBron on that team, their record's bad for the players they have, right? But you're only
definitely.
26 and 30. It's the halfway point of the season, and you got LeBron, who's statistically not slowing down. So I think he turns it around for them regardless of what happens. I mean, he is the Tom Brady of the NBA at this point. So he's going to turn that around for them. They'll at least make the play-in game. Now, do they lose? Yeah, it could really possibly happen. Portland Trail Blazers, they're probably not going to make it. So that's why I think Sacramento could jump into there based on what I saw. Even the Pelicans are right there. Now you add CJ McCollum
Oh
to who
yeah,
they
I could see them beating LA for sure
yeah,
in a playing
Pelicans
game.
could jump right in there. Because what they have Jonas, right? He's going off right
Jonas
now.
Valanciunas, CJ McCollum. You need Zion Williamson to get out of that sauna, unwrap the ankle, and just run
Brandon
out there.
Ingram's just got to score 28 a game. He has to become Tracy McGrady. There's too much talk about potential for like 6 years, and he's just wishy washy. Like he'll drop 31, and then he scores 6, then he scores 11, and he's got to put on muscle. You just can't look like Soldier Boy out there on the court. Like man,
I mean,
it's
I think
just
he can. It's that KD body. I mean, KD has that body, and they play kind of similar. Obviously, KD's much better, but Ingram has that attack mode,
yeah. He just people
offensively.
talked about it. The next KD, and he's got to. I think he's just scared. Honestly, like he just something about him. It concerns me as a person that watches the league. I probably wouldn't want him on my team. I would say that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least he didn't win Nickelodeon Player of the Game, but he's definitely has his flaws. I don't want to dive into
Trubisky.
that too
Yeah.
much.
Yep.
What dark days, man! As a sportsman, yeah. Anyway, on to the Super Bowl. Let's hear it. So, what's your prediction for the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl. So my true prediction versus actual bets. Let's pull it up. It's in LA, Hollywood. Sean McVay and the Rams in their own locker room, in their own backyard. Inglewood, Joe Burrow, Bengals. Looking at it, I truly believe the Rams are just much better. I mean, they're deep. They got veterans who are all at the right point of their career. I mean, Stafford, Miller, Ramsey, Donald, Cup, OBJ. The list just goes on. Eric Hill off the couch, as we talked about. There's no reason to think this team doesn't win. It's indoors. It's two electric offenses, two pretty solid defenses. I think the Rams win this game ultimately 34-24, 10-point game. But not what I took in the FanDuel sheets. I took Rams to win 30-21. And then I also took the Bengals to win by a field goal. So a lot of different things, but my true belief, Rams 34, Bengals 24.
Super
Super
Bowl
Bowl
MVP.
MVP,
Who you going?
Connor Cup, Cooper Cup, Cooper Cup. I think Stafford's going to play good, right? But everything moves through Cup. I'm talking 13 receptions, 125 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. Cooper Cup, Super Bowl MVP, baby. Rams 34, Bengals 24.
Yeah, I agree. Rams are going to win this one. Home game, going to be loud as fuck. SoFi Stadium looks like a goddamn spaceship, man. It's going to be a real party over there this weekend. I'm going Rams 31, Bengals 17. Huge game from Cooper Cup, the same guy who week in, week out, you just kind of scratch your head and say, should I bet him to go over the yardage again? That's how many times can he do it? And he just keeps fucking doing it. A legend. One of the things I heard about Cooper Cup on the radio was listening to Sports Talk a few days ago, and they said that he is just a quarterback like approach player, even at wide receiver. He's watching film nonstop. The coaches, they said they would wake up from text to him late in the night, um, just with questions on just blocking in certain schemes. I mean, that speaks volumes, man. And I think he's going to come into this game focused and just, like you said, Super Bowl MVP. Absolutely going through Cooper Cup. Unless he gets hurt, I just don't see a world in which he isn't the Super Bowl MVP.
So now the other, and I think this is worth putting a bet on because I think this could really happen too. Let's go back to that AFC game, Bengals Titans. Titans had 9 fucking sacks against the Bengals. So
uh,
what the hell is Aaron Donald going to do? If Aaron Donald has 2-3 sacks and a forced fumble, he's winning Super Bowl MVP, so hey, this could be what happened. We've seen it happen with other players before. So keep an eye on the legend, the greatest defensive tackle of all time, the only motherfucker to ever make 4 straight 99 overall Maddens, Aaron Donald. He could very well win Super Bowl MVP. So keep an eye on those trenches. Again, keep an eye on the trenches. Aaron Donald could be the key to why the Rams win this game, regardless of what happens on the offensive side of the ball.
what do we think about first touchdown score? What are your thoughts on who's that?
First touchdown score, I'm going to go Odell Beckham Jr. I think
God, me
they're going to
too.
move.
I have that on
Yeah,
fucking a bunch of sheets.
I think Bengals win the toss. They punt. I think Rams punt the next possession. I think Bengals get a field goal. And then I think the first touchdown comes in the second quarter. Probably like early on. They're going to zip the ball to Cup, move down the field, and then just Beckham in the corner and just throw it up, and he'll just go and get it. I do expect him to have a big game too. He's probably my third favorite right now. If I were to go MVPs, it would be Cup, Donald, OBJ, and then Burrow. Burrow's first pick for the Bengals if the Bengals come through. So, and it could happen. Burrow could throw for freaking 400 yards. You never know. Jamar Chase, like what if Jamar Chase has a Randy Moss game? So those are your 5 to watch, 5 players to watch for Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, exciting weekend coming up. I don't. I think, like I said, I think the Rams will kind of pull away. It won't be a close game, but we should get some good highlights from both sides. And yeah, LA,
You
get
notice
excited, man.
you notice the spread's back down to 3.5 after it went to 4.5 at one point. Earlier in the week, it was at 4.5. As the game gets closer, I think people realize like this could be a field goal game. I mean, that's why I took that field goal bet, because at a 3.5 spread, you want to trust the Rams. You think you can get Rams touchdown, but why take them for minus points? I might even go ahead and do another bet, where I have Rams +7. and give them a whole touchdown and see how far that gets me up the line. So there's options, there's wiggle room, there's going to be tons of bets. I'm not going to give myself any room to lose this. I'm going to be coming out winning something regardless. So really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great weekend.
Hell yeah. No, absolutely. It'll be great. Can't wait to smash some wings, pizza, some cold beer, and see how this goes. So
And we're looking
coming
at,
up.
let's see, the over under is 49, 48 and a half. Assuming I think yeah, that's a tough over under actually. That's a tough one because you
Not
could
even
be
touching it.
yeah, you could be 24-21 and lose that, you know. So, yeah, that's a tough one. I think though there's some good bets out there. Just check all your apps, make sure you go. You know both quarterbacks are going to throw over 225. So put together a 225 plus alt. Maybe zap the over up some. Go to 53 points, buy some points, and then also too, you could look at the running backs. I think one of the running backs are going to score. Probably not both. I think this is going to be a more passing game. Um, Joe Mixon's not going to be able to run a whole lot against that front four, the backers, the Rams. So expect more passing, but I do think one of these running backs get into the end zone.
Oh
So
yeah. For me,
that's
it's
some-
Cam Akers.
that's
I
something to
expect
check.
to see Cam Akers out there for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be a good one. I still don't know. Uzoma's playing. I know he was banged up a little bit. Now he's talking about a chili bath, Skyline chili bath. So we'll see what happens. I mean, that's another guy I like to bet on touchdown wise. Uzoma is known to put up some TDs, so that
Yeah,
stat.
they're gonna have to look for the tight ends because the Rams are gonna game plan against Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, those speedy receivers. So absolutely, if you're Tyler
Both
Boyd or Zoma.
both teams got great receivers, so expect the tight ends very much so to score. Absolutely. Who's the guy? Is it Tyler Higbee? I think is it? Yeah, expect Tyler Higbee to get a touchdown. Let's go there because yeah, you're gonna get three wide and then Higbee against a linebacker, and that's what you need. That is
Hundred
what you
percent.
need. So, so yeah, Super Bowl Sunday coming up soon. Might throw some live videos up during the Super Bowl. Who knows? Just some halftime entertainment, Snapchat style.
Oh, I
Um,
know, just cold beer in hand, check-ins.
yeah, but we got a great one on tap. So regardless, tune in, get your bets in. I would say this is the weekend if you can afford it. If you're not going to live in a cardboard box, you should be betting at least $200 to $250 this weekend. You could bring in some serious dough. There's so many props out there that are walkaways. So do it right, do some research. You got a couple days, fellas, folks, ladies, gentlemen, place them bets.
Yeah, it's exciting to see. I mean, there's some parlays cooking, so we'll see how they turn out. And in the meantime, just be enjoying the festivities, enjoying the game.
Absolutely. Yep. We're gonna be dropping I think Saturday we're doing a pod with Braylon. We're gonna get Braylon on and go through some interesting stuff with him, see what he's been going through right now, the toys, the Tom Brady jersey, the gaming. So that's
Yeah,
something
I
that's
gotta check into that one. Absolutely. If you
yep.
even do it like early in the morning, shit, I'll just be at work watching it. Yep.
Oh yeah, it'll be around then. Yep. Because I'm gonna get up and get some stuff done. So yeah. Oh, need to change my tires too. How do I put in a request to get tires? Need two back tires, Nissan Altima.
Damn. Yeah, no, I'll hit you up off the air, figure out something.
Yeah. Wow, a MailChimp banner ad. That's how you know it's time to log off. Folks, we've seen it all. Catch us
Yes,
next time.
sir.
Fun times await post Super Bowl, and we'll be moving straight into the NBA season. No longer will you see the dewy field; it'll be the hardwood as we see what goes down post bubble and the NBA finals. Exciting stuff coming up. Oh, definitely catch up on Book of Boba Fett. The finale was last night. Holy fuck, amazing shit.
I
Um,
think I'm on episode 4 or something.
you're about to get to the best part because it's kind of slow because they tell a lot of backstory for the first 4 episodes. Five
Hmm.
through seven, complete fire, just bangers. Everything pops off. People start popping in, just cameos, just fucking all types of wild shit. So, yep.
Oh yeah, I'll be catching up. I'm working my way through it. So
Actually,
till
funny
this
enough,
Sunday.
as soon as we wrap this, because you saw Obi-Wan's coming out in May, we're going through Star Wars. So we're on episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Just starting the first chapter. They got through the vault. They're about to confront Dooku and Palpatine in the fucking rocking chair.
Man, just murdered Mace Windu for nothing. Just
Oh,
terrible.
yeah. I'm like, they got to bring him back. I'm like, one of these. I'm like, if they can just show a trailer of just a black hand reaching for a purple lightsaber out of some rubble, like that'll just
Yeah,
get right.
like he just happened to just land on some huge slippery snow alien at the bottom of the building. Like that's the only way they could spin it. If he didn't land on that, he's just dead. Like
Yep. Yeah, because they never show. Like, what if someone just catches him in a speeder and just takes him to a back to tank to just recover? It can happen. I've seen crazy shit in the Star Wars universe. So yeah, I'm really
oh
looking
yeah.
forward to it. Yeah, we got so Obi-Wan Kenobi May 25th, then Mando at the end of the year. I don't think Ashoka's coming out till next year, but
I tell
lot.
you what, I would heavily enjoy, and I don't want to get too deep into the rabbit hole, but a crossover movie where basically Star Wars and Avatar intersect, just Tatooine and Pandora, because it could be the origins of Jake Sully's just great grandparents. They somehow flew from Pandora to Tatooine, just brought back lightsabers and shit. Like man, there's huge crossover potential. Huge.
Yeah, I expect things like that to happen in the future as people get more open to the multiverse type of idea. I mean, we're already going there, like you said. So there's huge potential. There's even talk of um, in production. It's still rumored. We don't know if it's confirmed true, but there's talk of Darth Maul, Disney Plus original, being in production. Um,
Mm-mm-mm.
so we'll get that backstory. It would be dandy to jump into his shoes because we always wonder where the spiky faced red and black guy came from. Just showed up on a speeder and wreaked havoc on the universe.
I just had that '90s high school bully haircut and was killed off way too quickly. Gonna have to
Yeah,
see for sure.
going to have to dive into that. So, yep, exciting stuff coming up. Super Bowl Sunday, Wingstop, Rick Ross and the thighs,
Yes,
Costco
sir.
Pizza. Make sure you
Catch
get
you
those
guys
bets in.
then.
We'll see you next time. Fun times await.